Raider Nation, Vince Sapienza in for Aaron Coscarelli. You were watching Week 14 edition of Raiders Game Day alongside, as always, living legend, EA, Eric Allen. EA, another tough weekend for the Silver and Black, a 48-9 road loss at Arrowhead. A lot to get into, but first your quick, rapid Raider reaction.
Well, who would have thought? I mean, that would go down and play flat, and all the turnovers just killed us today. And just a performance you like to forget, but you got to learn from these types of football games. Kansas City Chiefs were on their game, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. We have to really regroup, get ready because it's another short week, right? We're playing on Saturday. So again, got to learn from it, got to ready to move on.
Well, we have a lot on tap here on Raiders Game Day, as we always do. We're going to look at the first, second half highlights. We're going to hear from head coach Rich Bisaccia, as well as the players. And, of course, we are going to look at what is the AFC playoff picture for your Las Vegas Raiders. But first, we got to get into these first half highlights. And one of the Kansas City Chiefs are always an emotional game because they're always a measuring stick, especially in recent years. But this is not how you want to start a game 17 seconds in.
And again, Vince, I start off by saying this Kansas City Chiefs defense has been leading this football team. And that's not the way we see this football team, but they were around the ball, punching at it, getting after it, the scoop and score in the first play. They were hyped, excited to be there. Again, this Kansas City Chiefs football team really played lights out today, and this was just the beginning of a dreadful day for our Raiders as far as the turnovers are concerned.
And you talk about that play, almost a microcosm of what we saw throughout the 60 minutes. The Kansas City defense playing like a top 5 defense within the last month. And then here's Patrick Mahomes. You give him a lead, he's feeling comfortable and confident, and he's dropping
Mullen
dimes.
gets double moved. This is his first game back in the beginning of the season. And then here, just spatial awareness, understanding what they're trying to set you up with. They always are going to hit us with this misdirection stuff, right? So again, we talked about tackling at the second level. Got to do a better job coming the next 4 weeks tackling at second level because we have the Cleveland Browns coming in here, playing the Cleveland Browns next week.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the story of the day. I mean, turnovers, 5 on the day. I mean, this one hits Foster Moreau right in the numbers.
Right there. You got it. You got some runs after the catch. You're excited. You're having the ability to move the football. But again, Sorensen comes up with a great, and this is great tackling right here. One-on-one tackles, you make sure you secure it, and then you punch the ball out. And those Chiefs, again, are at it. Josh Gordon, first touchdown since Week 1, 2019. 2 years.
So he's back in the end zone. And again, you know, as we're looking at these highlights, and all credit, again, to the Kansas City Chiefs because they were the aggressors, especially on defense. But these are self-inflicted mistakes, not taking care of the rock. And you know it's not going your way when Hunter Renfrow is putting it on the grass.
All these guys are our top guys who are loose with the football, or the Chiefs are punching it away. Another great shot at all you young football players out there. That's the way you want to do it. Secure, punch through if you see some leather. They were on their game today, and Matthew was a big part of that as the Kansas City Chiefs defense continued to put their team in situations like this in the red zone.
Well, and that's what great teams do, right? They force turnovers and they capitalize on the Kansas City Chiefs scoring 4 touchdowns on 4 turnovers. But
what did we get there?
Bisaccia special on the fake punt conversion. And then, you know, the Raiders are playing catch-up mode down 35-0 at this point, 2-minute offense, just trying to get something going.
Still some fight. You see Derek now moving around the pocket, kind of extending the play, using that running back out the backfield to get those extra yards, and then Money is always there to have our back.
Yeah, so EA, you know, we're looking at this first half. Obviously, historic in terms of what the Raiders allowed, 35-3 in that first half. First time in a long time that something like that has happened. When you're watching that first half and it is just snowballing, how difficult is it to rein that in?
Well, again, when you're going to a place to play like Kansas City and you don't have your major weapons, and then you have to have the game play out in a certain way. You have to be able to run clock. You have to be able to get into the red zone. You can't afford any turnovers. And we saw just from the first play, you have the turnovers there. So you have Patrick Mahomes with a lead, and now every play is at his disposal. Defensively, on the other other hand, the Chiefs can kind of peel back their ears, understand that we have to score. They're getting after our quarterback. They're really having a great job at being able to gang tackle, causing interceptions, fumbles. They're really on their game.
Again, a lot of self-inflicted penalties, turnovers on the silver and black side. Again, 35-3, nothing to really like about that. But in the second half, we did see improvement in terms of the offense and defense being able to rein themselves in a bit.
Again, one thing that we all know is that Ngakoue is going to continue to pressure the pocket. All our guys, for that standpoint, are going to continue to get after the quarterback. That's been one thing all season long that we know we can count on each and every week. But we can't allow Mahomes outside the pocket. Looks like a broken coverage here. And again, that's when he really kills you, when he's off platform, he's outside the pocket. But again, another great sack.
You're excited about Malcolm
Oh, I
Jones.
am.
You're excited
2
about
weeks in a row, he's gotten sacked. And I love the stiff arm
That's
there.
right.
Shows you his power, right? His relentlessness.
He's popping off the tape in a good way.
He really is. He really is. Love to see that fact. And then the fight here of our quarterback continuing to try and push his team in position to win football games. Here, look at that. I mean,
that's backyard football, right? That's Renfrow and Carr just making a play to make a play.
Making things happen. These are those winning plays you have to have in tough situations. So hopefully we're in a close situation these next 4 weeks, and those plays will really matter.
Now this one makes your skin crawl as a former DB. I mean, look at the wiggle. Look at the catch. Look at the turn upfield.
We call this the pull away. Great job by pressing, and then you just pull away. You pull away from that corner who has bad eyes. And again, Renfrow shows you the magic in the red zone. How many times have we seen this in the red zone with Renfrow? He's just such a dynamic route runner in these situations.
3 straight games with 100 yards for Renfrow. We're going to dive into his play a little bit later. But again, as much good as there was, Kansas City continued to attack. They didn't let their foot off the gas.
Attack that football. Here we have some guys in the wrong gaps. Big hole in the end, and this was sad. As Raider fans, you want to continue playing hard. That play right there wasn't typical of the effort that we are about in the silver and black.
Final stats provided by Sports Water, but I mean, you can look at the stats till you're blue in the face. There's really only one that matters right now.
It doesn't really mean anything.
5-0.
Throw them all out of there.
Turnovers, 5-0. You're not going to win a game.
The turnovers is what kills us, and that's something that we need to continue to get better at in football games. And coming into this game, I knew turnovers would be a big part. I thought we would have more turnovers, right? Because the Kansas City Chiefs offensively have been giving opportunities for teams. But it just seems like when they're facing the silver and black this year, they're on point.
We're going to hear from the team, obviously, later up in the show, but one of the overwhelming themes was the disappointment, the frustration, and a term that they used, embarrassing type of loss. When you turn the ball over 5 times, when you give Patrick Mahomes that many possessions, it's more likely than not going to go in your favor.
That's right.
But just in the macro of what this means for the rest of the season, this was a tough blow for the mental capacity of this team.
It really is. And then you pile on top of that all of the injuries we had. So again, Hunter Renfrow, who we're going to talk about a little later, was a catalyst for this offense, and we really didn't have a number 2 guy, who could really have a big day off of them adjusting their routes and adjusting their coverage, I should say, to Hunter Renfrow. But again, offensively, we have to find a way to have some kind of spark early, and I think that'll be complementary to defense, and then we can kind of get after them. Once you have that many turnovers, you're down by 17, 28 points, it's very difficult to mount a comeback if you have an offense that's kind of struggling to kind of find its way.
Mid-December, still worrying about starting on time for the silver and black. Raider Nation, we know you have questions. Interim head coach Rich Bisaccia will try and provide some answers with his post-game press conference. Plus, we've got a special guest, EA.
Yes, we do.
The one, the only, Bruce Gradkowski in the house. Come on back.
Raiders Game Day is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation made to chill. And by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com.
Welcome back to Raiders Game Day, and we are going to go back in time a bit. Look at this man. Number 5 on your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Oakland, check out the dirt. Bruce Gradkowski balling.
Off the back foot.
Back foot. Why are we
Nice.
showing you these highlights from this Raiders living legend? Because
Love
he
it.
joins us here in studios. Vince Sapienza alongside Eric Allen. Bruce, does this take you back?
Guys, I mean, I need to come back here every weekend if we're going to show this.
Right.
This is a confidence builder right here. So many great memories. And honestly, I just appreciate you guys having me back because what a beautiful facility, beautiful stadium. I know today didn't go how we'd like, but man, there's a lot to be excited about for Raider Nation. I mean, I go around the facility, I go around the stadium, and I'm like, this is amazing, man, to see where it has come from, and a lot of good times back in the day. I really appreciate Raider Nation. So many good memories. My wife and I, now we got 3 little kids. And you know what? My 6-year-old Roman, his favorite team, the Raiders.
There
baby.
you go.
Well, I would hope so.
You're raising them right. You're raising them right. That's right.
And Raider Nation, talk about a legacy. You got to see your legacy brick outside Allegiant Stadium. What was that like?
You know, it was so cool. And that's, I'll tell you what, the Raiders do an unbelievable job, you know, bringing their alumni back, you know, keeping us a part of this thing. Because when, you know how it is, EA, when you're done playing, man, there's a part of you that misses the game, that feels empty inside. And for the Raiders, always, you know, Mr. Davis, Mark Davis, bringing us back and always, once a Raider, always a Raider. It's so special, and it was really cool being back and seeing that brick. You know, for myself, that's cool, but to be able to send it to my mom and dad, you know.
Because the mom and dad, they're the ones, too. They don't understand, like, the family aspect of being a professional football player and being in a family like the Raiders. You're always attached. So to bring in that family, I mean, it's just extra special.
And honestly, playing for the Raiders, that was one of my favorite times in my career, you know, because we had some success at the time. I was playing. It was fun, exciting. So it was awesome to be back and a lot of good things. So happy to join you guys.
And you had some good real estate. You had that nice shot right at the entrance of Allegiant Stadium, the Death Star. I mean, people are going to be seeing that.
I'm a little jealous right now.
Well, I think I had to come up because I needed to see the proof
That's
myself.
right. That's right.
Is it real? I mean, that brick came to my house in Ohio, and I was thankful for that. But I was like, I need to see. Is it really at the stadium?
It is real, and it is there.
It's there.
Talk about some guy who's been covering some real estate, especially today at Arrowhead. Hunter Renfrow, a career day, 14 targets, 13 catches, 117 yards, a touchdown, career day.
Right, yeah.
But he wasn't happy, obviously.
Obviously, right. Bruce, what is it like to have a security blanket like a guy like Hunter Renfrow?
Well, man, just watching him play. Look at his routes, right? And as a quarterback, you can trust him on third downs, any down, situational football, because he can separate inside. Look how he separates right there. Carr doing a phenomenal job keeping the play alive. So for Renfrow being one of the guys that lost a fumble, like, that just doesn't sit well.
No, the day was bad.
Right?
Yeah,
Because look at this route. The perfection looks like a quick slant, boom, puts on the brakes, returns back outside, good, accurate football.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a guy you would just love as a quarterback because you can trust him.
Right.
He's going to catch everything. And his routes are going to be spectacular, and he can separate, and we see that from him. So it was unfortunate today. You know, today was one of those games you want to pinch yourself, you want to slap yourself on the face, wake up and hurry up to get to next week. You just want to get to practice.
Sometimes you're happy on a short week. So you can kind of get through this. You're going to get the workout in, get that sweat in, watch the film, then get to the next game.
And you know, a lot of fans joke about, third and Renfrow, but with the absence of Darren Waller, I mean, he's a first Renfrow, second Renfrow. I mean, you're looking at the targets, you look at the trust from Derek Carr. When you have that trust and you have that chemistry, that play we saw, that backyard ball, Carr scrambling and just finding the guy, I mean, that goes a long way, especially when Derek Carr talks about trusting his players moving forward. That's a guy that has all the trust in the world.
For sure.
No, absolutely. And look, I would have liked to seen him early in that first half.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're not getting things going, and the Kansas City Chiefs did a phenomenal job punching that ball out. I mean, they played aggressive and tough, and so you have to give them a lot of credit. But when you're going through situations like that, really dial in, get Renfrow the football, get your playmakers the ball, because you need a guy like that to make a key play to get some momentum going.
Right.
And today was tough. They just couldn't get into a momentum.
Yeah.
And, anytime you have 5 turnovers, you're not going to win many games. So it was just tough sledding.
All right, well, we're going to look at some of those miscues, and unfortunately, there was a few of them.
Right
It
from the
started
start.
17 seconds into the game. EA, again, we talk about mentality a lot,
Yes,
but when it's the first play of the game, it's a scoop and score, you're down, you're behind the 8 ball immediately.
So you're balancing these emotions on the first play, right? So all of the hard work you've put in through the week, their first play, okay, defensively, if I'm a defensive player, we're like, hey, everything is doing, we're working. Everything is working for us right now. Right now, they're questioning themselves. So defensively, you love the fact that you're able to get around the ball. You're causing turnovers. All that preparation, all that work, all those things you talked about and saw in film are coming to fruition, right? And offensively, right now, you're like, let's just get one play. Let's get to one play to get us going, and that's not happening.
Bruce, and it really looked like a snowball effect, especially in the first quarter and a half. It didn't seem like they could get out of their own way. Hindsight's 20/20, but how do you, as a unit, come together and slow the game down in a game that's so fast?
Well, it's just tough. It's easy to lead during easy times, when things are going good, but when things are going tough, it's hard to keep guys involved and engaged. And the Raiders, like with Derek Carr, he's a key leader on this football team. You got to focus back in. You got to focus on what you could control right now. The Raiders at times, look, it wasn't pretty. They know that. They understand it. Even after you win games, you don't want to come in and watch the film the next day. It just happens because there's always plays that you made mistakes you don't want to see, but you have to learn. EA, you said it earlier. Yeah. You have to learn from these mistakes and grow from it. It's not a pretty game, but you really got to just chew this one. Get to the work week and just hurry up to next week. It's good. It's a short week for these guys, and they have everything still in front of them. Yeah. So you have to look at the positives, but also realize, too, this isn't the Raider team that we're used to seeing, or they didn't put their best foot forward. Yeah. And they know that because this game with those turnovers, they just could not get in any sense of a rhythm today. So, look, you just got to watch this one and move forward.
So the Raiders take a gut punch in Week 14, a 48-9 loss, the biggest loss to their division rival, Kansas City Chiefs, in franchise history. Raider Nation has a lot of questions. Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia providing some answers.
No, I'd love to tell you that'd be a great excuse if I said, boy, we had a really bad week of practice and I saw this coming. So I can't say that. I thought we had a good week of practice. I thought we had a really good Thursday's practice. And I didn't see this coming. Didn't see the turnovers by good players, So when that happens to you, kind of your expectations start getting a little, oh, geez, what's going to happen next? And I think you saw that. It was a little bit of a snowball effect throughout the whole game. And again, to have one on the end like that, the last drive, you look back and go, that's kind of what the whole game looked like. So give up the big run. On defense, that's a little uncharacteristic of us. We kind of preach, play to the bitter end. And again, I didn't think it looked like that from my standpoint at this particular time.
All right, guys, so we broke down the miscues. We saw what didn't go right, but I think maybe the most surprising thing hearing, not just from Rich, but the rest of the players as well, is they all talked about how this was maybe their best week of practice all season and that they were almost blindsided by what happened today.
Yeah.
What goes into that?
Well, the transition from the practice field to the playing field can take many different turns. And this Raider team that showed up had to have a perfect kind of game because of the absence of so many big-time players. So, again, all those balls that Hunter caught, some of those balls would have been for Darren Waller. And so now defensively, if Darren Waller is eating, now you have to adjust your defense, and now Hunter can kind of eat. So, again, offensively, we need to find a way to be able to be consistent and control the clock, be able to take those shots, and then be able to secure the ball. That's playing complementary football, helping your defense, keeping them off the field, and allowing what our best thing we do on defense is getting after the quarterback. We need to get a lead, force teams to throw the football.
Bruce, we're taking a look at this AFC playoff picture. Obviously not where the Raiders want to be, but to your point, when you look at the teams that are in front of them and 4 games left on the schedule, we see them all right there.
Exactly. And the Raiders, we get a chance to play everyone. You're going to play the Broncos, the Browns, the Colts, the Chargers. So everything is still right in front of you. So even though for how bad today was, you look at the reality of it and say, look, we still have to take control of what we could control.
Yes.
And that's the remaining schedule. And that's this week, quite frankly. You can't even look ahead. You got to focus back in. Today wasn't pretty. We all know that. We understand it. Third down situations, not converting. And on the other side, when our defense did hold them, there's a penalty.
Yeah.
And you can't give Mahomes a new set of downs. Right. And then on the flip side, offensively, a 3rd and 4, Zay Jones on a shallow cross when it was only 14-0 still, drop pass. You know, so it's just those conversions there. It starts to snowball, the turnovers. So it's unfortunate, but we just saw the schedule, man. Everything's still in front of them.
And it's easy to look at the big picture and try and win them all at once, but you can only win one at a time, and it starts with Cleveland in Cleveland this weekend. Coming up after the break, the Silver and Black are back in the community. As always, we will show you who and tell you where. Stay with us.
This is Workshop 4 of the Hip Hop and Entrepreneurship Program, which is a community engagement program that is supported by the LVMPD Foundation in partnership with the Las Vegas Raiders.
If I probably wouldn't have been here, I probably would have been somewhere out there in the street.
And that they can overcome and be successful and be an entrepreneur. That's why we created this program, so we can have kids that grew up, you know, like me, in the streets and with no hope and no support system. And we give them support system here with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
To actually get the opportunity to meet someone who accomplished their dreams and they can actually tell you about their walk of accomplishing that dream, that can inspire these children to do the things they want to do in life.
Everybody don't have this. Everybody don't have what you guys have right here. And so it's important that you show how much you care by showing up and going to school.
Did you go to school? Why not?
And what I realized that it wasn't that I didn't have people around me, it was that I didn't open myself to people around me. Right? I closed myself off to people. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want people to know me.
And I feel like just those real conversations of people, not only me, Nick, and KJ, but the kids sharing real experiences that they've gone through, that kind of lifted the energy up in the room, and then it could, you know, it just took it to another level from there.
We want to hear Waller.
I saw my mother cry, and she's still crying because her baby made it out on the other side. Gonna shine like me. Let's go. We realized we need to do a better job of reaching out to our community, but specifically reaching out to our youth, our community, and give them an outlet to use their voices about what's going on in their hearts and let them express it instead of expressing it in a violent way.
I was blown away as somebody that makes music. This was amazing.
Music is my takeaway from the streets and all of that. I can make a change. We all can make a change.
You talk about making plays on the field, but when you see a feature like that and you talk about the Silver and Black, it's not surprising because this is what they do on a daily basis. But when you see superstar players, Nick Morrow, KJ Wright, Darren Waller, not larger than life figures on the field, but being real and being part of the community and telling their stories with kids, I mean, it's an incredible and powerful thing.
That changes lives. You know, everyone in that room will be different when they leave because of the pouring out and the true honesty of those players and the rest of those young men. And again, that's what this organization has been about, and that's what this organization is about. And you know, they're right and straight with theirs, particularly when it comes to the community.
Well, and that's what's so cool to see. I mean, Darren Waller, what he has been through in his life and his journey, and now to pour back into the community, and that's special, man. To have a platform, to be blessed to play in the NFL and to use it the right way. Those videos are awesome because those kids, they don't care you won or lost. That's Darren Waller. That's these guys giving back and helping. Because look, we all have a different journey. We all go through different adversities. How can we help? And that's awesome to see what the Raiders are doing in the community.
And I think that's key. Every football player, every athlete, you know, when they get to the top of their sport, has a journey. But what are they doing with that journey to give back? And you see the Silver and Black, the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders doing just that. Speaking of Darren Waller, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, here's his numbers on the field. Obviously, there is a big hole on the offensive side of the ball with him missing. These are just some of the numbers: 53 catches, 643 yards, only 2 touchdowns, but that doesn't really tell the whole story when he's getting double and triple teamed on a consistent basis. How big of an absence is Darren Waller?
We saw it today. We saw it today because he's the kind of player, call him a unicorn, because when he's on the football field, you have to have eyes on him. If you're in the defensive meeting room, you know right away where Darren Waller is on every single play. You can go in with a power formation, what we call 12 personnel, with 2 tight ends and 1 back, and you can treat it almost like, there's 3 receivers on the football field. So that really, really dictates the defenses, kind of what coverages and what zone concepts you can play. He's just so special. He's a catalyst of this football team. Without him, we're missing him big time.
Well, absolutely, because if you're a defense coordinator, you're preparing for Darren Waller. I mean, you have to make sure you have 2 guys on him. Who's covering him if he motions outside? Who's covering him if he's inside? We don't want to mismatch linebacker on Darren Waller. So that's what they missed today. And then, Renfrow's carrying the load. But at the end of that first half, all of a sudden you have Waller down the middle of the field or one-on-one for fades. It's just a different ball game. So hopefully he could get back soon because he's been missed.
He brings a different dynamic, obviously, to the offense, and I know Derek Carr was missing him in the game planning because that's a tough guy to be without. Coming up after the break, we are going to hear from DC and get his thoughts on today's loss and what it means moving forward. Stay with us.
This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in.
Again, disappointment. You can sense that. But I'm always honest with you guys. Disappointment, but also a togetherness, because that's all we got. We all know everybody's against us, and it's going to be hard and all that kind of stuff. But that's what builds character, man. People will say, "I'll take wins over character any day." I was like, well, you need good character to eventually get it right. You know what I mean? And so, I see good character where guys are going around to one another and saying, "Hey, man, I got your back," and all this kind of stuff. I mean, you hear all that stuff, but at the same time, there is some disappointment. It's fresh. It's an open wound, and especially coming in here when you didn't expect something like that, But you have to give Kansas City credit, man. They got good players, good coaches, and they did a good job today.
Welcome back inside Raiders Game Day. Vince Sapienza alongside Bruce Gradkowski, Eric Allen. And Bruce, I want to get your thoughts. You played the position, just heard from Derek Carr. Disappointment, the overwhelming theme of the locker room right now. You say all the good things, the right things, staying together. It's a lot easier said than done when you go into your division rival's house and you lose the way you did, and you're on this stretch where games are still in front of you, things are still in front of you, but you're just not coming together when it matters most.
Well, the first thing I thought was, I wish I had hair that could hang out of my hat like that. I'm not going to lie. Maybe we need DC to get a BG haircut. But no, I mean, look, it's tough. I think Carr, honestly, all season has handled himself really well at the podium in key tough situations. And today is one of those tough situations. You have to pull together as a team because there's things out there today you don't like. I mean, look, there's things you don't like on a win, let alone a loss like this. So you have to push forward. You have to stay together as a team because games like this, you know how it is, EA. Yeah. You could have some guys pulling different directions and so forth. So as a coaching staff, as a team captain and leader, you have to keep the group going, knowing, looking ahead, guys, this is still all in front of us.
For sure, and it has to be one message coming out of that locker room. That's what's important because losses like this expose all those weaknesses, and it's on film. And you have to fix those things on film. If not, you'll continue to see them over and over and over again. That's the one thing about losses like this is the exposure, right? They're going to expose some of the weaknesses in your football team. So for all those teams that we see right there on the screen, the Browns, the Broncos, the Colts, and the Chargers, believe me, they're looking at this film, finding out a way to kind of duplicate what the Chiefs have been able to do to us the last 2 times we faced them.
Look, I know we talk about rallying together as we're looking at the next 4 weeks, the final 4 weeks of the season for the Silver and Black. We just saw the AFC playoff picture a few minutes ago. All those teams ahead of them. Everything's still ahead of them. How important, when you say that one message has to come from the locker room, how important is the message saying, hey, look, we're not done. This doesn't bury us.
For how bad you feel after today, that's the reality of the situation. Every team you have left on your schedule is in the playoff hunt, and you have a chance to knock them off one at a time. You don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to come in trying to punch that football out?
That's
I
right.
mean, they see what happened today, so you just got to prepare this week. You have to be ready knowing everything is still in front of you. Those teams today, hey, some of them had some good games, but for the Raiders, man, it's still all ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, plenty more to discuss here on Raiders Game Day. And when we return, we're getting real special. We're talking special teams. Eddie going one-on-one with the specialist, newly paid specialist. Stay with us.
That is actually something we haven't really discussed a whole lot. Yeah, because honestly, it happened so fast. So we were kind of surprised with how quick it happened. So we do need to come up with something and, find a way to celebrate. I know Trent's begging for a meal.
Yeah, we'll buy Trent.
So we'll definitely buy him a meal. But
buy Trent dinner.
I mean, besides that, I don't think much has changed.
I celebrated last night. I did. I was about to go to Chipotle like I normally do on Wednesdays, but instead I Grubhubbed Chipotle.
Oh, look at you, man. Hey, look.
Big baller find headed my way.
The only thing I asked from you, AJ, is don't let this money go to your head, man. I know that you got Grubhub money now, but let's stay humble.
Like
right?
It was a one-time thing. I'm not gonna get on here and apologize for it. I'm not sorry, but it felt good.
He's
different. He's different, Daniel.
I was getting Cafe Rio, and my wife was like, "Do you want queso?" And I was like, "Sure."
Oh.
I was like, "Wait a second." I was like, "Do you have to pay extra for queso?" She's like, "Yeah, it's $1." And I was like, "Oh, never mind." So she died laughing at that because we knew we were going to sign the contract, and I was like, "Look, I'm not changing. I'm the same old. I'm not cheap. I'm frugal."
Check out the full episode of Upon Further Review featuring AJ Cole, Daniel Carlson on Spotify or wherever you podcast. All right, these guys, tremendous characters.
They are.
But we need to get to the real news of the day. When we're talking purchases, big contracts from Bruce Gradkowski and Eric Allen, what were our first purchases? EA.
Well, I'm going to go my second one because I'm not sure if my first one is family friendly. Hey, listen, I went downtown Philly, went to the best clothing store and got just suited, nice suits.
Suited and booted.
Yeah, shoes. The mannequin guy. I said, I want the mannequin guy. Whatever the mannequin guy has
went up
on.
to the window and said, that's what I want.
That's what I want right there, the 3-piece suit, yes.
Do you remember the price?
I think it was like $1,500, something like that. Yeah, I was rolling.
You can never go wrong with, give me what the mannequin has.
That's right, looking good.
That's how I shop for my wife. I walk in, I say, whatever that mannequin has on, can you get my wife's sizes? Thinking about it, it was coming out of college out of Toledo. I had a few autograph signings. This is before I got drafted, not even knowing where I was going to get drafted or when. And I remember my dad loved his buddy's used car. And I wanted to buy it for him. It was like $6,000.
Nice.
I had about $15,000 in the account.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Coming out of Toledo, I'm like, bro, I'm loaded right now. I don't need more money.
You were flying high.
So I bought my dad this car, and my agent at the time was like, just so you know, you might not get drafted. And you're not going to get a signing bonus. I said, hey, it's all right. Let's do it. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you went sentimental. EA, you just went
man.
Suited and booted.
Suited and booted. Looking good.
I'm still waiting for my contract, so I'll let you guys know. We're not done here on Raiders Game Day. Coming up, plenty more to unpack. Stay with us.
This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders.
My name is Jeremy Bernard. I am 17 years old, and I go to Liberty High School. I play wide receiver. To make a change in the community is just a great feeling to me, just because the faces that the youth make when they see me around, it just inspires me to push harder. I want to say to her, thank you for this opportunity and thank you for this blessing, because not a lot of players like me get this opportunity, and I want to thank you guys for having me.
If ever there was a game that you want to flush right away, this was the game. The Raiders do have a short week with next Saturday's game in Cleveland, so hopefully the team can wipe this one away quickly and move on to the Browns. After the game, as the team left the field here at Arrowhead Stadium and headed into the locker room, it was extremely quiet. This team knows that it was not a good day for them. Now it's a matter of can they rally things up for the final 4 games of the season.
Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. Vince Sapienza, Eric Allen, Bruce Gradkowski. Obviously not probably a lot to talk about after that game for the Raiders. Sure. But when we are looking at the silver and black lining or spotlighting some of the good that we did see, Hunter Renfrow obviously continues to pop off. 14 targets, 13 catches, 117 yards, no Darren Waller. He's elevating his game. Obviously, it wasn't enough in terms of the team aspect. But how much does it help when you see a guy like that stepping up from his role and producing?
It's awesome to see. I mean, because we continue to grow, and you want to see him continue to grow. And Renfrow's doing that. I mean, from his rookie year till now, this guy continues to get better. I mean, look what Cooper Kupp's doing for the Rams. I mean, that's how I see Renfrow. He's going to continue to grow. Initially, he's a slot receiver. That's where he plays. Look at some of the plays today on the slant return. Outside receiver, on a fade. I mean, so he's doing so much for this offense. And now you get Darren Waller back. You have other pieces going on. Look, this wasn't a good game today, but for other reasons that, look, when you see Renfrow turning the ball over, that's uncharacteristic.
It really is.
Yeah. So they'll bounce back. I have no fear of that. And Renfrow is one of the guys that's been making a big impact, and he's
sure
fun to watch.
Yeah, he sure is. And I think people around the league are starting to understand that he's just not a third down guy. He's a possession receiver who can make it happen. Love his special teams play. He's a headsy player. I love him because he's just a football player, right? And I keep going back to that. I'm not sure if you saw it, but he made a tackle and dislodged the ball like 3 or 4 weeks ago, coming out of a punt return, kind of recognized what was going on. It was a fake punt, and he laid the hat. Yeah. So, again, he's always been one of my favorite players. Yeah, he's a football player. Those are the kind of guys you cannot win without.
3 straight games with 100 yards for Hunter Renfrow, but as we heard, post-game stats don't matter, wins and losses do. Here's Hunter Renfrow.
You know, sometimes it's just one of those days, and they played really well. And, you know, I think, like Vinny said, it was a big game for us, and I don't know if it was a must-win, but we felt like we needed to win it for sure to get into playoffs. And, you know, you don't want to be emotional going out there and playing. You can play with emotion, that's okay. But I felt like we played a little emotional today, you know, before the game, and then we just, you know, stomped on our own foots. Disappointed, embarrassed by the performance we put on the field. You know, we have a lot of good guys in there, a lot of guys with character, a lot of guys that played a lot of football. And, you know, there's going to be tough days and there's going to be great days where huge wins. And it's all about, you know, getting better, being the same person, treating people the same, and no matter win or lose, getting better. And if we can do that, then we'll build something special.
All right, we talk about Hunter Renfrow, how hard of a worker is. You guys talked about what a football player is. This guy was a walk-on at one of the best college football programs in the nation. Look at the company he is in. Wide receivers with 85-plus catches in a single season in franchise history. This franchise has had some names at the wide receiver position.
Some incredible
when you
names.
see Hunter Renfrow with the likes of Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, and Michael Crabtree, I mean, this isn't just hard work. This is talent coming to the surface.
He really has continued to develop in this game. He's going to continue to get better. And that's the thing that I love about him is every year he adds something to his game. And he's going to continue to be a dynamite, play-breaking type of player.
When you continue to work at your craft, you're going to continue to get better. And that's what he's doing.
Yes.
And as a quarterback, you want a guy that you could trust, that he's going to be at the right spot at the right time. He's going to catch the football. He can separate. That's Hunter Renfrow. He can do it all. So, of course, he's going to get the targets. It's great to see. It's great to see his production. But the thing we love about him, he wants the wins. Yeah. He doesn't care about these stats. Yeah. And that's why you love the guy.
Yeah, you heard Derek Carr say earlier he would trade in any catch or any stat for a win. Bruce Gradkowski, you're going to be joining us for the rest of the season, in and out, on air.
Yes.
Once a Raider, always a Raider. On air, online. Thank you for joining us. We will see you here soon. EA and I are coming back straight out of this commercial break, so you should stick around. Why? because Max Crosby is talking. When he talks, oh, it's fun.
So thank you, first of all, so much for sticking around. That's very nice of you. Let's start right from the beginning. Your name is Max, spelled with 2 X's.
Yes.
Is there a reason for the extra X?
Yes, so I was a 12-pound baby, almost 12-pound baby.
Oh my.
And
Your poor mother.
yeah, almost took her out. So they had to, break the collarbone to get me out. And my mom, they came in, they're like, yeah, what do you want the name to be, blah, blah, blah. She's like, it's Max, but we're gonna put another X because I was so big. So yeah, it ended up working out right.
So do you feel like you were then kind of born to play football?
In a way, it's kind of funny. Growing up, my older brother, he was the football star, and I like basketball more. And then it kind of switched once we got a little bit older. But yeah, it's crazy how things work out.
When you're born in Texas, that's such a huge football state. So did you feel pressure that you had to play football, especially being the size that you were?
Yeah, honestly, at that time, I was really growing into my body. I was a late bloomer, so I was kind of figuring out, what I wanted to do, how I'm gonna grow into my body. I really didn't know. I was slower. I couldn't, I was growing so fast that I didn't have any twitch and anything like that at that point. So it was I didn't know what my future was gonna look like. And being in that environment, everybody played football and I loved it, but I wasn't the player I wanted to be yet. But it took time and I just kept working at it.
You can catch all the episodes of Raiders Talk of the Nation on Raiders.com or the Raiders YouTube channel. EA, we had some great guests on this one. My favorite may be Wayne Newton riding the bus around the strip. And when Christine asked, have you done this before? He's like, never.
Yeah. But Max, again, one of my all-time favorite players because of the development. Another one of those players that continues to get better, right? Works on his craft. And now that I know the reason behind the double X, I'm pretty terrified right now.
His poor mom. Prayers to Mama Max.
Yeah.
All right, we are not done here on Raiders Game Day. After the break, we are going to look ahead at what's next for the Silver and Black. Stay with us.
This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in. Modelo, a taste that's pure gold. Brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. And by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com.
No, he's the same guy every single day. Just like a lot of our guys. They're the same every day, and he's the same every day since I've known him. And I'm just so proud of him. I'm so happy for him, the success that he's having. But he'll be the first one to tell you he would trade any of those 100-yard days or catches for wins. And I think that's what I love about him the most. And so. I keep telling people, when you look at him, everyone's like, well, he just works hard, and it's like, no, the guy's just a good football player. He's just more talented than some people, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. So, very happy for the success that he's had in this league. And one thing I know about him is he's not ever satisfied. So he's going to keep working to even try and get better. And he's a really good player.
Derek Carr talking about Hunter Renfrow, who had a career day, 13 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. EA, we touched on it in the last segment or so, but we just heard him. He's just more talented than most of the guys.
At some aspects of his game, you have to have some talent to be able to excel at this level, but that's what leadership looked like, too, for DC standpoint. That's what a leader does. He's not deflecting from what happened today in Kansas City, and he understands that you need players like Hunter, you need players like Waller and Josh and that line to all be in sync, really, to put our best foot forward for the next 4 weeks, which is really important.
And you don't have much time to get that done because Saturday night in Cleveland, that is the start of what the Raiders hope is the start of something good this
Run defense, better be ready. Run defense.
Eric Allen, Bruce Gradkowski, I'm Vince Sapienza. Thanks for joining us on Raiders Game Day. We'll see you next time.